Well, thank you, Governor Parsons, for that nice introduction. And I'd like to welcome all of our participants today to the construction trades or the construction residential trades workshop that we have. And so thank you for participating today. We have 3 honored guests who will be introducing themselves in just a minute, but I want to kind of let you know a little bit about the rundown of the session. First of all, my name is Colleen Jones and I work for the Liberty School District. But our session today will have a Q&A features at the bottom. So if you have a question, please put that in the chat. And then our panelists will be able to answer some of those questions. And I want to let you know that our hard stop of time is at 12:40. So that's when we will end all of our sessions. So first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Kristen Hampton Casey, and I'll let her tell about where she works and what she does.
Hi, I work at Hampton Plumbing in Kearney, Missouri, and I run the showroom for plumbing fixtures at new home construction. We do primarily new home residential construction and commercial plumbing. I have done this for 9 years, and it is my family's business. And I had a very big, great opportunity to join them, and I learned how to just help people make their plumbing selections for their new homes, and it is a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. And now we'll head over to Brian Tebbenkamp and let him introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Brian Tebbenkamp. I'm the owner and general manager for Patriot Homes. We're a small residential contractor in the Northland. We build probably a dozen to a dozen and a half homes a year. We employ 6 individuals that work with us full time and keep several hundred subcontractor trades that partner with us busy throughout the year. So we oversee the projects and help schedule them to do their part. Hampton Plumbing actually being one of our contractors. So me and Kristen get to work together quite frequently on our projects and make people's dreams come true by putting their homes together and everything. So that is what I do. I got started in this a few years back, and it's a very rewarding field to have a lot of different people that rely on our companies all working together and keeping everybody moving and employed.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And now on to Austin Haywood. I think you're on mute, Austin.
Can you hear me now? Awesome. Hi, my name is Austin Haywood. I work for Hermes Landscaping out of Lenexa, Kansas. I'm actually a Liberty Public Schools graduate myself. I graduated from Liberty North in 2012. So it's pretty great to see. But I'm a residential business development sales rep for Hermes Landscaping. So Hermes Landscaping puts in landscaping projects in front of new construction, new homes all over the metro, as well as we have clients that call in to replace landscaping in their yard, to put in new plants, new trees. We do outdoor paver patios, irrigation, sprinkler systems, all the fun things that come with landscaping around your house. And then Hermes Landscaping also participates in landscape management and landscape maintenance in different maintenance provided communities around the country. We plant trees in subdivisions at all the commercial buildings like Cerner. We also plant trees out there, and then we do snow removal around the city as well. So we do just about everything there is to do outside in front of homes, in front of buildings, and making the world a little bit more beautiful place.
Well, thank you, Austin. And with all of our guests here today, you know, I'm sure their paths have come different ways. And so I'd like them to think back a little bit to their high school self And since most of our participants today are high school or middle school students, I want them to think about and share with you what advice would they have given themselves in high school. And did you know that this was the path you were on in high school?
I'm more than happy to take this one. I don't know if everybody can still see me or not. Awesome. Yeah. The advice I would give to myself as a high school student is I would try to find some job to do for fun in the summer. So basically how I got interested in landscaping was I got an opportunity with a sod company out of Liberty to go lay sod for them, earthscapes, during the summer. So it was a tough job, but paid a little bit better than minimum wage. Got me outside and working, after football practices, and it just kind of developed into a passion from there, where if I get to be outside and have fun and make somebody's house or community look a little bit better, I think that's kind of what drove me toward the landscaping and building industry. So
I can go next. So in my case, I don't know, can you hear me? In my case, it was definitely not planned. I did not think I would be in this industry. I had a very big idea of what my career was going to be, and it was a hobby. My family was very into a specific sports hobby, and I wanted my career to follow that. And so I did spend most of my 20s after college pursuing that hobby career, and ended up totally burned out at 2006 and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I avoided working for the construction industry because I grew up in it as a family business. And I felt like that wasn't my match. And finally, I gave into a great opportunity that my father had given me to come to work, and it was 100% the right fit. Grew up my whole life with construction, and finally came back to it and found that it was the right fit. And I was able to use my skills just in growing up in it to grow from that. And I learned on the job site. I learned my skills through spending time with my family. My brother has been plumbing for 20 years, and my father's been plumbing since the 1970s. So through all of that, I was able to grow and expand, although I haven't spent the most amount of time doing this in my family, but that's how I came to getting into what I do.
As far as me, I would say my biggest piece of advice for my younger self would be to take what I was doing at the time and being a student to realize how much less stressful that is on yourself, and to learn as much as you can from people that are trying to teach you and better you for the future. I took on summer work in high school, and it was office work. It was something I quickly realized was not really for me. I wanted to do something outside, so I got into a skilled trade and took on work as a framer in high school, and did that during the summer and on weekends with a company. Once I graduated high school, I continued doing that right out of high school, and just trades just stuck with me. It resonated with me more. It was more geared towards my personality. The one thing I would say is I fought a second language in high school. I constantly said, I don't understand why this would ever really apply to me and why it would be important. And it was actually Spanish is the class that I fought. And if I had known how important it would be to my career today, probably would have put a little bit more emphasis on working hard at learning it and becoming extremely fluent. And it's just one of those things that I kind of blew off what teachers and counselors were saying, and didn't really realize how important it would be to my career today. So that would be one of the things I would pass on to myself.
Well, thank you for answering that question and sharing your stories. I think it's really interesting to hear what your journey has been. And not everyone is the same, but I think what we heard from all of you is to capitalize on opportunities and to capitalize on your passions and also your networking, that's an important piece too. I know that we're getting some questions in the chat room, but I've got another question before we start answering some of those. We heard Governor Parsons talk about the industry and his support of this industry. Well, in construction, there's a lot of trends right now, a lot of needs in Kansas City. And so can you answer a little bit about what's needed in your industry right now to give the students a perspective of, you know, what's happening in the Kansas City area?
I can take that right now. So I would say in our industry, we have a shortage of people that are coming into our trade programs versus the amount of people that are retiring and leaving the trades in our country right now. So it's slowly starting to create a deficit. And I say slowly, I mean, actually fairly quickly. We're in the last few years, it's become quite troublesome to keep skilled people in our industry that can do work and be dependable. And it's the biggest thing is trying to learn as much as you can if it's something that you think and that would be good for you. It's the integrity of trying to learn something new is very important.
Totally agree with that. We definitely need skilled tradesmen badly.
Colleen, you're on mute.
You are right. I am on mute. We have a question here. Why do you think that residential construction is very important? And how is it helping our people that are needing a place to live?
I can take that. Residential construction is important for the purpose of providing families homes. Without all of our tradespeople building those homes, there's nowhere for anybody to live, basically. As older homes deteriorate or get torn down, or we have people moving in at a higher rate into the city than we have new homes and old homes available. They have to come from somewhere. So all of us as trade partners working together to get those built, and it's very important for families to have a place to live. And the field residential construction is one of those things that's always going to be there, and it's always going to be very important to our economy and our state and everybody around here.
Austin, where are you going to go?
There. Yes. So, I mean, I read something in a business journal a couple weeks ago that talked about how the Kansas City Metro and the Midwest is blowing up more than anywhere else in the country. So it's so exciting. I think we have so much passion for Kansas City because we live here and grow up here, and it's very important to us. But a lot of people are seeing how amazing the community is and wanting to move here. So in the residential world, that means that more homes need to be built. More people are wanting to live in these neighborhoods that are beautiful in our community. And so to have people with passion that want to work in this industry and want to build homes for the people that are around them, or get in any part of trade that is part of this huge industry of the building industry, plumbing, electrician, roofing, landscaping, there's so many things and so many jobs that are out there. So if you can come in with some sort of passion and get excited about it, then it would be easy to to find a job in something you can care about in the land or in the building industry and residential specifically.
And also to add to the question, if the construction industry and the residential portion of that is booming, it usually translates into a very healthy economy. So anytime that we're doing well, and we're doing very well right now with developments and new construction, it usually means that the United States is doing well as a whole. So I feel like that's always a positive.
And just to capitalize a little bit on what you've all been talking about, there's so much growth, not only in Kansas City, and Austin, you're exactly right. There's lots coming to our area, but also in the Northland too. I think that our whole area up in the Northland is growing too. And I'm sure that a lot of you see some of the new developments where there's a lot of new homes that are being started too. So just in our Northland alone, there's quite a bit of residential construction. So I'm sure that's keeping all of you quite busy. Okay, another question that came in through the chat room is, have any of you helped homeless in any way through your business or through your networking, or know of some folks in the industry that have been able to help some of the homeless, or maybe even veterans, or someone who needs a place to live? Or have you worked with any companies that have helped provide some of that shelter for others?
So I can take that. Actually, I'm a member of the Kansas City Home Builders Association, and I'm actually on the board of directors and a member of our YP committee there. And for the last couple of years, we've actually partnered with Veterans Community Project here in town and helped build the homes in their couple phases of their tiny village, which is a way to help homeless veterans get back on their feet and find jobs. And so we had a couple of years where we got to physically go out there and help build homes, and it was a very rewarding thing to be able to do in our industry.
As our company, a small family business, my father knows the owner of the Restore company, Ed Kephart in Liberty, Missouri, and Ed will come to us when he has certain people in need. And recently we had two situations, people living in homes that were underprivileged, that had no water or sewer, and it was causing some really bad living situations. If you could imagine what it's like to try to live in a home with no sewer, and the kinds of things to deal with that. So we were able to fix those problems and get them back up and running, because connecting to the sewer is a very complicated thing, especially when you're dealing with crossing streets outdoors. You can't just dig your yard up and fix your sewer. Sometimes it can get into the road. So we were able to donate our time to help people that do have homes that are falling apart, either not being maintained, but that's what Restore does, is help keep those people in those homes and those homes working for them.
Awesome, thank you. So another question that came up is about the skilled trades. And if you're interested if one of our participants is interested in the skilled trades, but not really sure what they want to get into, what would you recommend?
I would say that there are a lot of trade programs out there that you can do apprenticeships, or try and set something up where you could shadow somebody for a day. As we hire people to work with us in our company, it's actually a requirement that they shadow somebody for a few days to make sure it's something that they want to do and that they feel they could do. And it just kind of gives you insight into what you would be trying to pick up and learn. I mean, if it's something that you're not going to enjoy, then it's, in my opinion, I wouldn't try and make that my career, because then you're not going to be happy doing it. So there's many programs out there where you can set up apprenticeships and try different things to find out what would be the best fit for you and, you know, what you might be passionate about.
If Austin, are you going to go, Austin? No. Okay. I don't have a whole lot to add other than as a small family business, if you're interested in becoming a plumber, going in and meeting the owner, just filling out an application, and a willingness to learn, even if it's not through a trade program. Most of these companies will teach you, as long as you have, you know, basic knowledge, swinging a hammer and operating basic tools, we can take it from there. And again, just the willingness to learn, is you will shadow for quite a while just through learning the trade. And we do that. We really look forward to getting people that would be interested to start, and staying consistent. No call, no show is a bad thing. So.
So Kristen, you brought up a really good point there, and that's about, you know, what do you look for in an employee as they're getting started? You said, you know, they got to show up. And so what are some things that you look for in each of your areas for an employee? What would you like them to possess as a characteristic?
Well, just like I said, the willingness to learn and the effort, putting in, I think maximum effort is the biggest positive thing. I know my boss is always looking for people that, even if they don't do the best at whatever it is, that they are always giving 100%, and that they are willing to learn. And if there is a challenge, just don't say I can't. Give it a shot. That's a big one. We're using more and more technology, like things that they have to use, not just their tools, but technology. And some people are against that. They just want to stay in their ways. So if you can be willing to learn the new things, you'll do very well. Even if you're not like the best at doing it. I hate to speak for the plumbing side, since I'm more on the showroom side, but that is what my experience is whenever he speaks of employees at the plumbing.
I know in landscaping, I mean, it's an ever-changing world. So there are so many plants out there, so many trees, so many shrubs. I can never name them all. And I'm always trying to learn more information. So I think if you're dependable, you show up every day, you be where you're going to be when you say you're going to be there, or when your superior asks you to be somewhere, and you're eager to learn and you want to ask questions and never be afraid to. It's okay if you don't know something, because you are new to the industry. No matter who you are, where you come from, nobody knows everything, especially about landscaping. And so if you come in and you're asking questions, and there's always somebody who has a little bit more experience than you. So if you can find a mentor, that's something that's helped me in my role for sure. It's finding somebody who's a mentor, who's been in the industry 15, 20 years, and I can pick their brain every single day. And they're there and happy to teach me, which most people I think in this industry are. No one's really super turned off of somebody else who's excitable and eager to learn about anything in the residential building industry. So if you show up and are dependable and ask questions, I think anybody can do really, really well in this industry.
I would definitely agree with what they both said. And the being dependable and honest, and letting your employer know, you know, I might not be capable of that, but I'm willing to learn and try. Kristen used the word can't. in our industry, that is a 4-letter bad word. And I think it goes really, really far when you try to learn a new skill, even if you're not the best at it. It speaks volumes of a person to try and pick something up and work on getting better at it. The one thing I will say is, like me as a residential contractor, I'm dependent on Austin and Kristen to, come and do their portion of the build to keep us on schedule to be able to hit our deadlines. They're both reliant on the people that work for them in order for them to hit their deadlines with us. So the biggest thing I would say is realize that it's a team effort across the board, and by not being honest and the whole no call, no show and all that, realize it's not just you. There's many people out there that are depending, and it's a trickle down effect. It's we're all working together to get a common goal done. So be respectful of that, and that I think that goes a long way with an employer.
Okay, thank you. So we have a question about some summer construction jobs. If you're a high school student, what would be a good way to seek out some summer employment to kind of get you on the path and learn a little bit more, just as you've been speaking about? What would be some areas in your industries that might be open to high school students working in the summer?
I'm going to jump right in. This is huge. I can name off, not just with us, but so we buy our plumbing supplies from plumbing supply stores like Kearney Wind Supply and the Neenan Company. And those companies are loading the trucks, delivering the products to us on the job sites. They have warehouses that they're stocking, and they've got front salesmen, but they have tons of people that are doing all the stocking in the back. So lots of jobs just in the plumbing supply industry. Can't even imagine how many there are with all the other supply industries like landscaping and framing and all of that. But we also need, people to help in our own warehouse. So like I handle a lot of the warehouse receiving myself as a showroom person. But we take on high school students to do some basic warehouse work in our own plumbing shop. So those are just some things I can think of.
I know, in our business by itself, I know we have pretty consistent hiring fairs every other weekend out at our river farm, and almost anybody who has a pretty good attitude, high school student who wants to come out and plant plants, they can be there at 7 o'clock in the morning and learn about irrigation or learn about hardscape and is eager to do that. Well, we are a heck of a company who wants to teach young people who are very interested in doing that kind of stuff. So if you ever want to get outside and work all day, I know Hermes Landscaping and landscaping places across the city are always looking for people who want to do that. But just to kind of follow up on Kristen, we do work with different suppliers like Industrial Supply, who are looking for people to load trucks. And if you want to get into the world, there are tons of places who are looking for people who are eager and excited and can be there every day.
Do you all know if there's an age limit or age requirement to hold some of those positions?
I think we're looking at 17, 16. As long as you have a driver's license, it depends, I guess.
I believe for Hermes, if you are over the age of 17 with a driver's license, then you could come out and plant some plants with us in front of houses. So.
Okay, thank you. So there's a big question on here, and it's about salaries. So they want to know what the salary range is for some of the different areas of construction. That's pretty broad, I know, but can you kind of give an indication what that could possibly be?
I would say in most fields, you're going to be looking at better than minimum wage for most of our industry. Mid-teens to, skilled tradesmen. Some of these people can make up, $40, $50 an hour. There's a huge range in salary. So I would start with what you think is something that you would enjoy, and then try to get into a field there and be passionate about what you're doing, and the money will always come if you're passionate about it and willing to pick it up. I think you'll go a very long way in it. But I would say, you know, for most people starting out, you can do fairly well.
Yeah, Brian's totally right. The price is the amount you'll make is very wide ranging. But to add to that, in most cases, like companies like ours, there are matches in investing, like IRA match. To add to that, your benefits, many benefits included, health benefits, retirement benefits. So those are all things that come along with working for most of the construct. I can't speak for everyone's, but our company isn't, we include all of it.
Okay, another question. We're trying to get to a lot of them here because we're trying to wind down a little bit. But what is one of the biggest challenges that you face in your industry?
I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit. We've all said it, but reliable manpower is probably the number one thing in our industry right now. If most of these companies had more dependable employees and people that would show up all the time and are willing to learn and be trainable, I feel like we're all in a very, very good place. Like Kristen said earlier, there's tons of work out there for us right now, but I would be hard pressed to think that anybody could find a company that says we're in a great position with manpower right now. It's just, I feel like every company out there needs more dependable employees right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, the dependability factor is huge, and having employees come in who not necessarily just want to stick with an entry-level job, but somebody who wants to build loyalty within a company and move up, I think that's something that is hard-pressed to find, because people will jump from ship to ship looking for one additional dollar. And so if you can have a plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, just something to set attainable goals to try to move up and get more experience to earn more of an income, I think that's something that is be a huge factor in what everybody's always looking for.
Okay, another question, and this one might be hard to answer for you, but what does an average day look like for you?
I'll jump. An average day would be catching up with clients. I have clients I meet for picking out their plumbing fixtures, and that changes. So when the client emails me, I will first thing in the morning get those changes made. We build picture portfolios. I will correct that and get it sent back to the client or the builder. After that, I'll go to the bank and the post office, make a deposit. And then from there, I'll start checking in the day's orders that I have placed on the dock. I do the physical check-in of the fixtures, get them placed for the plumbers for them to go out to the jobs and properly marked. And then by the end of the day, I'm making new POs for purchase orders for new fixtures for approved fixtures for houses.
I would say the biggest thing is to never expect an average day in this industry. It quickly can get altered from what you expected when you got up in the morning. Like Kristen said, there's many things that we all do that are just part of the day-to-day routines of our companies, but things constantly pop up that we're all having to deal with, and you just having the flexibility to deal with what comes your way is a huge thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, every day seems to change. You try to get a schedule together in the morning, and then by, I don't know, 11 o'clock, it's totally off track of what you were planning for. But I know most days for me, I always start with the crews down at the river, and we got, 10, 15 jobs going on at a time. So you want to know where everyone's going to work and where they're at in the process on finishing up that job. And then you go back and do paperwork, and you make phone calls, and you set meetings, and then you go later in the day to try to check on the jobs to make sure you got the progress done that we were planning on getting done in the morning. So you try to set a tedious schedule, and then it just goes 6 different ways. It seems like every day or every other one, which is what makes this business exciting.
Exactly. Well, and now we're entering into a season that is kind of undependable because of the weather. And I know even though the plumber still works inside, they're dependent on other crews to help put some of the pieces together for the house. And so everyone's dependent on someone else, but the weather has an effect on all of us in some way, shape, or form. And we've got 1 minute left. So I'm going to ask you just real quick, kind of going around, what makes your day? What do you love about your job? And you've got about 10 seconds to answer each one.
I would say the finished product and just being able to turn something out that people are happy with. It's very rewarding.
Mine's working with people. I enjoy meeting them and getting them exactly what they're hoping for to bring the whole home together. Same as Brian. So.
Yeah, same for me. Taking a customer's plan on what they want the outside of the home to look like and making that happen, whether it's an outdoor kitchen or outdoor fireplace or, 200 trees, any of that stuff, and bringing it to reality is a special thing we get to do.
Well, thank you today for being participants on this panel, and thanks for everything that you're doing in our area. So we also appreciate the time that you took today out of your busy schedule to share with us. So thanks for being here today, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.